The friends and family of Ed and Liz have since abandoned the couple and left them to their own devices. Ed and Liz don't like this, and we're going to talk about it. Hi, my name is James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiance single life, cast members Ed and Liz, and why their family members seem to have left them alone. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you get anything from the content, that you consider subscribing to the channel. It's easy to do. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out. It helps me out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that HBO special down below and we'll get at it. Let's get it. It might seem like it's a little cold that all of a sudden Ed and Liz's friends and family have stopped coming around and stopped participating in the who shot John and what's going on and the who's a what's with their relationship. Have you ever had a friend who is in a bad situation? They look to you for advice, and before long, no matter what you say, no matter what advice you give them, no matter what you say to them, they always seem to ignore your advice and continue along with the bad behavior. Whether it's being in a relationship that's not healthy for them and extremely toxic, whether it's dealing with some form of addiction or dealing with some type of substance abuse, or maybe they just have extremely bad habits that you're trying to help them get through. And no matter what advice you give them, they always come back, ignore that advice, and then they always seem to have a new story as to why this predicament or this circumstance is ruining their life. As the person who's giving that advice, you only really have one of two options. Either one, you can sit there and watch your friend be destroyed, or two, you can take a step back and allow them to proceed down that line and then hit rock bottom. Then once they hit rock bottom, you as the friend or the loved one step in to try to help them put the pieces back together. I think that's exactly where Liz and Ed's friends are. Now, in fairness, I am not intimately familiar with any of their circumstances. I did not follow Ed or Liz's journey through the 90 Day Fiance single life previous seasons. I think they were on Diary or one of the other spinoffs. I didn't follow any of it. Because honestly, from Ed's first introduction on 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, when he went out to Thailand or he went out to the Philippines and he mistreated that young lady, I have not been a fan of Little Ed. And I call him Little Ed not because of his physical stature. I call him Little Ed because he is a man of little character. He doesn't respect anybody else, and he always tries to find a way to look down on the people that he associates with and deals with. Everybody's a dummy. Everybody's an idiot. Everybody is trying to use him because he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So everybody wants to be around him and a part of his situation. Liz, I don't know what her deal is. But my question is, why are you spending your time with this gentleman? Now, I understand that from just different things that I've picked up in different conversations that I've heard during the course of this season, that it may seem like Liz is hanging around because she has a young child and she's been in a couple marriages apparently and some other previous bad relationships in which she thinks that by getting with Ed, this is a relationship she may feel like she can control. I'm not sure. That's just the feeling I get. Either way, when she goes back and she tells her friends and family, oh, this is how Ed is treating me. Ed is super controlling. Ed talks to me like crazy. Ed calls me fat. Ed is making me second guess my integrity, my own self-esteem, how I feel about myself. Ed is causing all these problems for me, but I love him so much and I gotta be with him and I can't abandon him. And instead of me even just trying to work the relationship out and trying to figure out how we can improve each other, what she decides to do is she decides to get engaged to this guy who apparently she was engaged to before and they broke it off, and then they get back together again, and then they wonder why people don't want to keep jumping back on this crazy train. And I'm sure many of you have been in that situation where you're trying to talk to people and you're trying to give them the best advice you can give them. And no matter what you say, you're always a hater. You don't understand. You don't really know the other person. And you gotta open your mind and stop trying to judge them and all that. Look, I'm not trying to judge your situation. I want for you what you want for yourself. I've had situations personally, where I've had people and I didn't really like their relationship or I didn't like the person that they were involved with. I didn't tell them to break up because I think they should break up. I don't tell you that you should leave your people. I just state my case and the things that I've observed. Things that you tell me. I give you what I think or what my position is, what my opinion is. And in some cases, I just say, you know what? This is the relationship you want. This is the relationship that you're chasing and pursuing. I don't want to stand in your way. And if I continue to come around, then I am going to be the reason why you break up. I am going to be the one who's sitting here constantly telling you that this relationship isn't working, it's not feeding your soul, and it's not helping you. And you are going to blame me. Instead of you looking at the relationship and saying, you know what, this relationship wasn't healthy. This relationship was toxic. We shouldn't be together because I decided that this isn't something I want to do. When the relationship dissolves or breaks down, the focus will be on me. Another tactic that's used is that you will become the subject matter. You will become the glue that bonds the two of these people together. So Ed and Liz, instead of them focusing on their relationship and how their relationship is toxic and unhealthy and the things that they need to do to improve themselves so that they can improve their relationship, instead of them having that conversation, the conversations will be centered around the idea that the person who is trying to counsel them, like for instance, Ed's mom or his sister or his friend, Ed, you don't need to be with her, you got to work on yourself, etc., etc. That guy becomes the subject matter for Liz and Ed. So when the two of them talk, they don't talk about their problems, they talk about that gentleman, that friend, and why that friend hates them, and why it's the two of them against the world, and the two of them got to have each other's backs, and it becomes a Romeo and Juliet type situation. So as a friend, the best thing you can sometimes do is remove yourself from that situation. Now, I understand you may want to stand there and defend your loved one. And that's part of it, is that you have that loyalty and you want to protect them. And the biggest problem that you have in that protection is that you're trying to protect them from themselves. I can fight the world. I can fight anybody. For my kids, for my family, for my friends. I'm willing to do that. But the truth of the matter is you can't protect them from them. And that's the same thing with most, like I said, most addictions, most bad habits, and these bad relationships. If somebody decides that this is the person they want to be with and that this is something they're going to do, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how good your points are. It doesn't matter how well you speak. You could go there with a 5-point slide, with all kinds of slides jumping off and visual aids and, things that you can point at and examples and all that. You can even have witness testimony, all of that, and none of it will matter. You can have videotape of him doing something wrong to her or her doing something wrong to him, and you can't explain to them why that relationship isn't working. From that regard, I understand why Ed's family and friends and Liz's family and friends are taking a step back. Let the two of them figure it out. If their marriage works, then that's great. I'm happy for you. But when your marriage doesn't work, I don't want to be the cause. But as your friend, I will be here to help you pick up the pieces, and I will help you get the help that you need so that you can go on and put yourself together and set yourself up in a situation where you can be successful. To me, that is the true earmark of a friend. A true friend, or somebody who really supports you, is somebody who's going to give you an honest opinion and then let you do with that information what you will. So if I advise you to do ABC, you don't have to do what I say. I'm not your boss. But at the same time, I'm not going to stand around and watch my friend destroy themselves. Sometimes you have to take that step back. That's my take. This is James, and this has been my take on reality. And I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.